Hello, ladies and gentlemen, everybody in between and beyond. Hang on one second. Sorry, I just realized I wasn't recording. There we go. Sorry about that. So, as I was saying, hello, ladies and gentlemen, everybody in between and beyond. My name's Jordy Coleman. You can call me Ginger Wolf. And welcome to another Let's Laugh. And as of this week, every Thursday is going to be officially our Let's Laugh Day. Every single Thursday. So hopefully we'll be able to get through, we should be able to get through Comedy Central's top 100 comedians. Hopefully in, it'll take us a little more than a year, but, you know, we'll at least, well, it might not take us quite that long because a lot of these guys, a lot of the comics on there don't necessarily have specials, but that means that we are now officially opening up for anybody, if anybody wants to recommend comedians that are not on Comedy Central's top 100 funniest stand-up comics list, to be on here. Now, keep in mind one thing, because it doesn't matter if the comedian's a big comedian, a small comedian, a medium comedian, whatever. Don't care about race, don't care about gender, don't care about their sexuality, don't care about none of that. The only thing that a person needs to qualify to be on Just Laugh is very simply a comedy special that we can access. That is the only thing. And ideally, at least a little bit of a biography so that we can go over them a little bit. Whether it's on their website, whether it's on Wikipedia, whether it's something on their personal YouTube page, whatever the case may be. Don't care if it's written by the person, don't care if it's written by somebody else, don't care if it's a news article, anything like that. They are eligible. Also, doesn't matter if they haven't been performing stand-up comedy in years. Doesn't matter if they performed comedy yesterday. Doesn't matter if they're an old stand-up comic. Doesn't matter if they're a new stand-up comic. Everybody is welcome. You are welcome to submit whomever you like. So if you're a big fan of somebody local, if they have at minimum a 30-minute special available on YouTube, by all means, let's do that. If it's somebody who has things more in a physical sense, like they sell DVDs or stuff like that, unfortunately, until I have the finances to set up a P.O. box, because I am not giving my personal address out, until I can set up a P.O. box, that will not be eligible. But for the time being, that is who is eligible, is literally anybody and everybody who has at least a short biography and a small comedy special. At least a half-hour comedy special. That is it. Now, with that being said, if it's only half-hour comedy specials, maybe we'll do 2 or 3 independent people in one shot. But we'll have to see how much time everything will take. Now that all the housekeeping has been taken care of, let's take a look at Jay Mohr. At least I believe that is how he pronounces his name. I suppose we will find out. Jon Ferguson J. Mohr is an American actor, stand-up comedian, and radio host. He is not now. I recognize. By the way, I recognize his face. I don't think I've ever actually seen a stand-up comedy special from him. Just looking at a little bit of a write-up here. Of course, I'm well aware of what Saturday Night Live is. I mean, I'm pretty sure if I did not know what Saturday Night Live is, my comedy card would be absolutely revoked. I am familiar with the movie Mafia, which is actually a really good comedy spoof movie. It's a parody film, of course. Um, Really funny. I actually really enjoy it. I'm familiar with The Adventures of Pluto Nash, although I've never seen it. Uh, I am aware of Are We There Yet? Again, never seen it. I'm just not a huge fan of rappers trying to make family films, family comedy films, because it feels very disingenuous. Because if Ice Cube, I like Ice Cube and everything like that, but he's a gangster rapper and he's trying to make family comedy films. It just feels very disingenuous to me. But maybe one day I'll check it out, and by all means, anybody who's seen it and wants to clarify that and say, no, it's actually not a bad movie, by all means, you know, let me know. Anyway, he is known for playing film producer Pete Dragon in the TV comedy series Action, which I haven't seen, in 1999. Professor Rick Payne in the TV series Ghost Whisperer. Also, I think I've seen episodes of it, but I haven't, never really focused on it. From 2006 to 2008, he had the title role in the CBS sitcom Gary Unmarried. From 2008 to 2010, he was a featured cast member in the NBC sketch comedy show Saturday Night Live from 1993 to 1995. Since making his feature film debut with Jerry Maguire, I have seen that movie. I have not seen it in years. So I'm not going to say anything about that. Mohr has appeared in films such as Suicide Kings, Picture Perfect, Polly, which I think I've seen Polly. And of course, it's not going to give us. No, that's not the Polly I'm thinking of. Excuse me. Mafia, Small Soldiers, which I actually have seen, although I think he was he was a voice actor in that, to be completely honest. Go, Cherry Falls, The Adventures of Pluto Nash, Are We There Yet, Street Kings, Hereafter, and the incredible Burt Wordstone. Mohr hosted his own podcast, Mohr Stories, on the Smodcast Network, which is actually owned by Kevin Smith. Little bit of a side. I'll finish reading this little paragraph here, and then I'll kind of go on the side tangent. On the Smod Network, and since September 2015, J Mohr Sports, a daily midday sports radio talk show on Fox Sports Radio. Mohr left Fox Sports Radio in January 2016 to pursue acting ventures. He was nominated for a Primetime Emmy Award and has inaugurated host and executive producer of Last Comic Standing. First and foremost, there's two things I want to talk about. The Smodcast Network. If you want to get really technical about podcasts and the like, if you are an avid podcast watcher and you enjoy podcasts, I don't care what the podcast is or anything like that. If you are an avid podcast watcher, there are two people that you can really thank for podcasts as we currently know them. Strangely, there are two people that you would not necessarily associate with being the most. Well, one of them is not somebody you would immediately think of when you think of podcasts, even if you know the person themselves, or no, of the person themselves. The other one, if you follow for any stretch of time, you know how avid they are in podcasting and how much they like talking, such as somebody like myself. That, of course, is Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith was kind of had one of the first big name podcasts. He was the podcast that actually had the very first sponsorship, and it was Fleshlight, because of course it was. Podcast, Kevin Smith, Fleshlight fits like a glove on a five penis man. So, but the other person is actually Tom Green. Before you could make any type of money off of podcasts, both Kevin Smith and Tom Green basically had podcasts. Tom Green's, of course, was on his own website, which was referred to as Tom Green's House, which was almost more of a wannabe late night talk show type thing. But of course, with Tom Green, when he was young, dumb, and very active and crazy and everything like that, and full blown ADHD mode. And Kevin Smith, of course, also had a podcast, and again, it was before podcasts were profitable. They both just enjoyed doing what they were doing, and eventually it came through where they were going, well, for Kevin Smith, as he put it, when he was talking about it, it was either his marketing manager or his accountant or somebody came to him and was basically like, you're basically hemorrhaging money because of this podcast. We need to figure something out. And that was when he got the first sponsorship, which again was Fleshlight. As far as Last Comic Standing goes, I kind of miss Last Comic Standing. I kind of do. I thought that was a great idea for reality TV shows. Because here's the thing. If you enjoy America's Got Talent or singing, like different singing things, that's all fine and good, and there's nothing wrong with that. But almost everybody, as far as the shows that I've watched, it's all cover songs. Now, you do still need to be a talented singer in order to be able to sing, even if you're singing a cover. But when it comes to Last Comic Standing, all the comedians had to write their own material. To me, that just seems like a better idea, having to not only perform, but write what you're performing. That seems like a way better idea for a reality TV show than just performing. Because then it's just performance art. And with shows like that, guess what? They have performance directors, so you're not creating really anything. Anyway, ramble and rant over. Let's move on to Mr. Jon Mohr. Mohr was born in Verona, New Jersey, to Eva Jean. You know, it's funny how many famous people hail from New Jersey. It is absolute. It's New Jersey and New York. New York's a little bit more, oh, of course they're from New York kind of thing. But there is a shit ton of famous people from New Jersey. Jen was a nurse, and John Wood Mohr, a marketing executive. He has two sisters, Julia and Virginia. He is of Scottish descent. Mohr was raised Presbyterian. I thought, oh, I'm so sorry. Can you tell it's a... My brain is not fully functioning right now. Presbyterian, but later converted to Roman Catholicism. He graduated from Verona High School in 1988. He's not that old. In high school, he was on the wrestling team and served as its captain during his senior year. Soon after graduating high school, Mohr was part of the cast of Biloxi Blues at a Nutterly Little Theater in Nutterly, New Jersey. I'm not familiar with that particular part. It sounds nutty. Career acting. After appearing on MTV's Half Hour Comedy Hour, which has always been a funny name for a half hour comedy hour. I just love the juxtaposition on that. Show on April 2nd, 1991, MTV offered him a job on hosting music videos as a VJ, which Mohr turned down. Now, here's an interesting thing about this. I will have to double check the timeline of this particular part, and I'm just going to put a highlight to kind of bookmark. MTV got very weird for a while, and I don't like obviously I don't think they are now because they don't really do music videos or anything. But that being said, MTV got super possessive over comedy for a while. And the reason for that is because of Denis Leary. Now, for those of you who don't know who Denis Leary is, he was the primary actor, he was the lead actor in the TV show Rescue Me with the firefighters and stuff like that that took place after 9/11. It was a really good show. I really do enjoy the show. And I do think Denis Leary is a good actor, even if he did steal a bunch of material from Bill Hicks. Yes, I said it. Here's the thing. MTV was working with Denis Leary. Denis Leary essentially became a big star because of working with MTV. Denis Leary turned around and basically said, okay, I'm done with you guys, and left. MTV created a big star, but now they can't really reap the benefits of creating a big star. So MTV got really dicey with some of their business choices when it came to half-hour comedy hours and just featuring comedians of any kind. I do like, half-hour comedy, or I do like MTV when they had their comedy stuff, because they really started leaning into it at one time, but of course after Denis Leary they stopped doing that. But it's just interesting how one thing can change the dynamic of an entire fucking company. Anyway, instead, Mohr ended up hosting the lip syncing contest game show Lip Service on MTV, which earned him a Cable Ace Award. He then appeared as a featured player for the 1993, 94, and 94-95 season of Saturday Night Live. His memoir, Gasping for Airtime, it's actually kind of not a bad name for it. 2 years in the trenches of Saturday Night Live. That would actually be, Gasping for Airtime would actually be not a bad idea for the name of a comedy special. Just saying. Details the tumultuous period of his life, including his battle with chronic panic attacks. He later credited his SNL co-star, Sarah Silverman, shout out to Sarah Silverman, with saving his life by helping him treat the problem. Apparently citation needed there. Mohr's account of his voluntary departure from Saturday Night Live has been wildly discounted. However, he was under a cloud of suspicion due to admitted plagiarism of jokes during the season, and his multi-year contract with NBC did not allow him to unilaterally quit. This is not the first time I've actually heard about a lot of shady behind the scenes shit happening at Saturday Night Live. As a matter of fact, Jim Breuer had a thing in an interview. We talked about Jim Breuer a few months ago. But had a thing in an interview where he was talking about how there was actually people who would hack into other people's emails to steal ideas, potentially, and hack into people's computers to try and steal ideas. That's fucking shady. It's sketchy as all fucking hell. And I can say this much: if I signed on to any show and I caught wind of anybody doing that, I would immediately take it to the bigwigs, and I don't care which, but somebody's getting fired. Whether it's me or the person stealing shit, somebody's getting fired. And if I'm the one that gets fired, so be it, because I don't want to fucking be there anyway. Uh, Moore had a recurring role in the first season of the Jeff Foxworthy show as Jeff Foxworthy's brother. Wayne might actually remember him from that. I didn't watch a whole lot of the Jeff Foxworthy show, but I did watch a few episodes. Moore's first major film role was in 1996 when he played the conniving, oh, conniving Bob Sugar, the sleazy sports agent in Jerry Maguire. Okay, I do recognize him then. Following in 1987 by a starring role in Picture Perfect with Jennifer Aniston in 1999, Moore stated in a starred in the television series Action, in which he plays the sleazy film producer Peter Dragon. Man, he's played a lot of like sleazy characters. That's a that's either a good thing or a bad thing, because that means that he himself is either sleazy and people recognize it, or he's that good of an actor, and maybe, just maybe, he might he might be a good person even though he plays shitty people. That happens. That happens quite a bit, actually. He was the voiceover artist for Fox Sports Net's Beyond the Glory. Moore appeared in additional movies including Suicide Kings, Are We There Yet, Small Soldiers, Go, Pay It Forward. Actually, I have seen Pay It Forward. Uh, and The Groomsman. Moore was offered a late night talk show job by Michelle Isner? Eisner. That's it. Michael Eisner. But he declined, instead convincing Eisner to let him host a talk show on ESPN, More Sports, which ran briefly in 2001 before being canceled. The talk show job Moore paused was then offered to Jimmy Kimmel and became Jimmy Kimmel Live. Not a huge fan of Jimmy Kimmel, to be completely honest. He has his place in the history of comedy, that is for sure, but personally speaking, I am not a huge fan. In 2003 and 2004, Moore created, hosted, and was executive producer on NBC's Last Comic Standing reality program. The show aired for 3 seasons, but was canceled near the end of the 3rd season due to poor ratings, only to be renewed later. Moore was very vocal towards NBC concerning its cancellation and did not return for the show's 4th season in 2006. Moore was replaced with new host Anthony Clark, but was credited as a consultant. On the season finale of Last Comic Standing 4, Moore performed as a guest comedian. His recurring role on the TV series Ghost Whisperer developed into a regular role. He appeared in My Own Private Practice Guy in 2003 episode and episode of the sitcom Scrubs, and in 3 episodes of West Wing in 2004, and a recurring role of Tyler Reed. Part of Moore's stand-up was featured in Comedy Central's animated series Shorties Watching Shorties in 2005. He and his Greffy Productions company inked a deal with Sony Pictures Television. Moore stated as a newly divorced father, Gary Brooks, the title character. Moore starred as a newly divorced father, Gary Brooks, is the title character for 2 seasons in the CBS sitcom Gary Unmarried. Paul Marshalls played his ex-wife. In January of 2010, he took the role Billy in Clint Eastwood's theater film Hereafter. He also guest starred on NBC's Outlaws in 2010. He has an upcoming starring role alongside Tom Billith in the comedy discussion material adapting from Bill Keenan's memoir of the same name. Whew, that was quite a bit. Mohr has contributed frequently to the Jim Rome Show, and often guest hosted the program. Mohr finished in 7th place in the 2007 Smack Off, 6th place in the 2008 Smack Off, 10th place in the 2009 Smack Off, 6th place in the 2010 Smack Off, 6th place in the 2011 Smack Off. Mohr is also known to do drive-by call-ins to the show, typically to promote one of his stand-up shows or live events. On January 2nd, 2013, Mohr replaced Rome on Fox Sports Radio as he hosted a daily show titled J. Mohr Sports in Rome's long time 12 to 3 p.m. time slot, as Rome moved his show from Premiere Network, the distributor of Fox Sports Radio, to CBS Sports Radio. The show can be heard on several internet platforms and regional affiliates. On November 3rd, 2014, J. Mohr Sports moved to 3 to 6 p.m. time slot, so Rich Ellis could take over the 12 to 3 slot for sport on Fox Sports Radio. I find with sports, shit gets moved around a lot. Like, a lot. It becomes one of those, okay, you're doing good in this time slot, let's move you to a different time slot. Okay, now you're doing good in this time slot. Like, they have an idea of what the best time somebody could be in, but they won't put you in that spot until you can prove that you can draw a crowd. Because hypothetically speaking, if you're drawing numbers at like 12 to 3, like they have on here, well, most people are at work during that period of time. So if you're drawing numbers, that means people are either sneaking out of work to listen to it in a different, on like a little radio or something like that, or they have like an ear pod in so they can listen to it while they're working, or they're putting it on the radio, or whatever the case may be. And it's like, well, if you're drawing people at that time, let's move you to from that time to 3 to 6, which would be still before when most people are off work. Plus, you don't have the 12 to 3. A lot of people are taking their lunch, so they might listen in for a little bit during that period of time. So, and then if you're really good, a lot of times they'll throw you after 6 p.m. till about 9 p.m., maybe even 10 p.m. Nowadays, you could probably even push that to about midnight, because after that point, most people are heading to bed. So if you can draw an audience after midnight, they might put you earlier. That's the whole Tonight Show, late night with Letterman, and that kind of stuff that has happened. Why some weird shit has gotten moved around with that over the years. I'm not going to get into it, but I just thought that it was kind of interesting as a little bit of a sidebar. Podcasts. Let's move on to his podcasts. Mohr hosted his own podcast titled Mohr Stories on the Smodcast Network, again, owned by Kevin Smith. On May 4th, 2012, Mohr announced his I cannot pronounce words today. Mutual departure from the Smodcast Network. Just use my own word if I can't pronounce the one that's presented to me. I do apologize. My brain's a little funky today. He has since begun hosting Mohr Stories on his own network, Fake Mustache Studios, which is also that's definitely a nod to the Groucho Marx glasses that The big glasses with the big nose and eyebrows and everything, those are Groucho Marx glasses. Most people call them just joke glasses or disguise glasses or something. Groucho Marx glasses. Look up Groucho Marx. He was a real person. And also, while you're at it, look up Humpty from Digital Underground because he essentially remade those to be famous. In June 2004, Mohr's first book, Gasping for Airtime, 2 Years in the Trenches of Saturday Night Live, was published by Hyperon and his 2 years working in Saturday Night Live. In May 2010, publisher Simon and Silcher released Mohr's second book, No Wonder My Parents Drank, Tales from a Stand-Up Dad. Mohr's album Happy and a Lot was nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Comedy Album. Nice. At the 58th Annual Grammy Awards. My mouth just is not working great for me today. The material was written by Nikki Cox, his wife at the time. Mohr hosted the NASCAR Cup Series Awards ceremony in Las Vegas since 2013. That guy's definitely a huge sports fan. In 2016, Mohr became the host of the Los Angeles Rams pregame show airing Saturday evenings after college football on KABC TV. He was replaced as a host in November 2016 with no explanation, which is always very sketchy. On a personal life, Mohr has a son, Jackson, from his 6-year marriage with former model actress Nicole Chamberlain. I recognize that name from something, and I don't know why. Maybe because this was a big thing, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. Mohr married actress Nikki Cox on December 29th, 2006. Cox wrote one of his stand-up shows, which is something I'm not going to get into a whole lot of it, but I don't like people ghostwriting stand-up comedy specials. It's when you have a daily or a weekly show, writers are great. Highly support writers having jobs like that. But when it comes to your own stand-up special, it's one thing to have somebody kind of go over it and punch it up a little bit. Have somebody else write it? Don't like that. Um, his he fled legal papers requesting a legal name change for Jon Ferguson Cox Mohr, adding his wife's surname. Their son, Meredith Daniel Mohr, was born on May 5th, 2011. That's a name you just don't hear anymore. Sorry. Mohr confirmed during the Adam Carolla show that he and Cox were in the middle of a divorce. Their divorce was finalized August 2018. In 2021, Mohr entered a rehabilitation facility to address an addiction to Adderall. Mohr began dating Los Angeles Laker owner Jenny Buss in 2017. The couple became engaged in December 2022 and married September 3rd, 2023. As far as film, we kind of touched on this quite a bit, but we'll kind of read through some stuff. Of course, Jerry Maguire, Picture Perfect, Suicide Kings, Brave Little Toaster to the Rescue. That was one of my mom's favorite animated movies. Polly, Small Soldiers, which again, I'm pretty sure he was a voice actor in that, but maybe not. Oh, actually, no, was he the dad in that show? In that movie? I think he was. Jane Austen's Mafia, which again, highly recommend that film. Playing by Heart, 200 Cigarettes, Go, Cherry Falls, Pay It Forward. Yeah, I have seen that movie. This is also a good movie. Not a comedy movie, but it's also a very good movie. Speaking of Sex, Adventures of Pluto Nash. Wonder why this one doesn't have a link on it. Simoon. Seeing Other People, Are We There Yet? King's Ransom, Even Monday. The Groomsman. Is that the Grooms? No, it's not the movie. I was thinking there's a movie where the two guys are like really shitty and they try to go to weddings and stuff like that to hit on like eligible women and stuff like that. It was for some reason the groomsman made me think of that movie, and I feel like it was out around the same time. Streets Kings, Lonely Streets, Hereafter, Incredible Word, Wonderstone, Dumbbells, Hard Road, All About Nina, American Nightmares, Hollow Point, Air, and for television, TGIF, Wilder, Saturday Night Live, Barefoot Executive, The Jeff Foxworthy Show, Local Heroes, From Earth to the Moon, All of the Other Reindeer, which is actually kind of a cute, relatively new-ish Christmas special. It's a very cute one. There's a dog named Olive, and like so on the radio they talk about one of the reindeer is injured or something like that, or sick or something, and Santa says we'll have to rely on all of the other reindeers, and the dog hears that as all of, not all of, so they think they're a reindeer. Again, it's cute. It's a kids thing. If you have kids and you want a new-ish um, comedy or Christmas special to play during the holidays, that's actually not a bad choice. I mean, it is a Christmas special, so as much as you want to watch Christmas specials, but you know. Action. He apparently voiced Christopher Walken in The Simpsons, which is kind of hilarious. Various characters on Family Guy, Night Version, Black River, Scrubs, Fastlane, CSI Miami, which is an interesting one. Last Comic Standing, West Wing, The Man Show, which I'm going to make a video about The Man Show one of these days. I swear to God. Because holy shit is that. I'm not even going to get into it, but there's a lot to talk about when it comes to that show. Because I looked into it at one point because originally it was Adam Carolla and Jimmy Kimmel that were the hosts of it. Then it was canceled. Then it was brought back sometime later with frickin' Joe Rogan and Doug Stanhope as the hosts. And that didn't last long. But still, what? Anyway. And apparently he was an ass wash salesman. Alright then. Las Vegas. If you're not going to have a link for it, I'm not saying it. Christmas Do-Over, which that one I'm not familiar with, but apparently he's a fan of Christmas as well. Community Services, Ghost Whisperer, Gary Unmarried, Monk, which I've seen in a couple episodes, but I have no memory of it, so Outlaw, Law and Order, Criminal Intent, Prime Suspects, Suburbatory, sorry. All of these, American Housewives, The Mick, Ghost Adventures, The Cleaning Lady, excuse me, Winning Time, The Rise of the Lakers Dynasty, and Mr. Bertram. And apparently he's also been in a shit ton of video games. Excuse me. Blitz the League 2, which I'm assuming, yeah, it's a football game. Saints Row 2, which is probably one of the most well-known, well, Saints Row as a series is probably the most well-known Grand Theft Auto-esque shows. Leisure Suit Larry, box office bust. I think that might be, I might own this game, because I'm pretty sure I own all of the Leisure Suit Larry games, at least all the ones that came out on PC. So we might take a look at that at some point. Saints Row: Get Out of Hell, which again is a DLC for Saints Row the third, I think, or possibly no, it's the fourth. My apologies. That's DLC for the fourth one. And that covers the entirety of his Wikipedia article of his page. Kind of a medium length one all in all. Kind of interesting. Doesn't seem like a bad person in any stretch of the imagination, so that's a good thing. That all being said, sorry, clicked start a little too soon on that, but let's get into our special of Jay Mohr. I'm not even sure exactly which special this is, like what the name of it is, but I'm sure the special will tell us. That being said, let's get into it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Jay Mohr!
Thank you very much, everybody, for coming to my Showtime special. This is number 2. Hopefully we'll shoot a lot more. Hey, man. Absolutely beautiful. We're going to have a great time tonight doing stand-up comedy. As you guys know, I speak very openly about my wife and I. We get to travel across the country. She writes a lot of the act. And I got to tell you, last week my wife and I were in Texas. And it was about 4 days. And we have a 3-year-old at home. And we were in Texas for 4 days. For the first time, my wife and I traveled without the baby. Now, if you have kids, you know this feeling. About a day and a half into the trip, you look at each other and you're like, awesome. Kids are awful. I didn't know how much I could get done without a child bugging the hell out of the two of us. 3 years old walking in. Are you guys wrestling again? Yeah, yes. How come Mommy always loses? Daddy's a wrestler. Mommy's more of a striker. Relax. Get out of the room, please. I was in a hotel room with my wife, and I had sex with her for 16 seconds in a row. Oh, I'm not even exaggerating. I put in work. 16 seconds in a row. And I had like a bottle of water on the nightstand, and the whole time I'm looking at it like 8, 9 seconds in. I'm like, no, not yet. Wait till the end, man. Dump it over your head like you won the Super Bowl when you're all done. I am so terrible in bed, my poor wife. A lot of comics will come up here and they'll tell you they have huge cocks and they can have sex all night long, and I'm definitely not one of those comics. I have a very small penis. The good news is I'm not going to take up a lot of your time with it. 16 seconds is like my marathon. My poor wife, my poor bride. My wife has the libido of like a 15-year-old gay boy. I, on the other hand, have the libido of like an 80-year-old Jewish woman. My wife wants to have sex, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, slow down. What's with all the right to it? Can't we kiss and talk about our feelings? Could you kiss my neck? Maybe tell me you love me? Are my nipples alone in this whole endeavor? What's the mishigash right to the penetration? I am bad in bed, and my poor wife puts up with it, thank God. It's amazing. I'm happily married. We've been married just about 10 years. Together 10 years, married 7. And we're happy. And here's the thing. Every advice you ever got when you were dating, when you decided to get married, everybody wants to give you advice, right? Throw it out the window. They're idiots. They don't know what they're talking about. Anybody that ever tell you is like, hey, or if you go to like a marriage counselor, first of all, let's be honest about marriage counselors, with all due respect. if you and your wife or you and your husband are going to a marriage counselor, it's already over. You're fucked. 30 people right now are going, oh no. I mean, seriously though, think about the logic. Hey, we don't get along. Let's pay a stranger $1,000 to tell us why we don't get along and give us bullshit advice. Marriage therapy or like couples therapy, they're always like, hey, why don't you guys have a game? I don't know why the marriage therapist is a surfer. Hey, bud. Hey, why don't you guys have a game night? That would be awesome. But that's what they'll say, like, well, you guys having a little rocky marriage, a little rocky patch? Why don't you guys have a game night? And you're like, oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, let's have all the neighbors come over and see my husband's a drunk and he yells at me. That'll be a good idea. Sure, in the middle of charades, he can shove me in front of all the neighbors. That's a great idea. Why don't you guys go out to eat, have a little conversation about the food? That's everyone's heard that from somebody. That's dumb. Okay. Oh, remember when you're like 20 years old and you'd be out to eat on a date and there'd be an older couple at the next table, like in their 50s, and they wouldn't even look at each other and they just eat their food and they don't talk, they never look, and you nudge your date and you're like, oh my God, look, they hate each other. That's the happiest couple in the restaurant. They went to a restaurant to eat. They're not gonna go there. If me and my wife go to a restaurant, we're eating. We're not gonna talk. That's like marriage counseling 101 bullshit. Hey, why don't you go to a restaurant? Talk about your feelings. That'll be nice. Have a little dialogue in a public place. And then you're sitting there with your husband and you're like, oh, hey, how's your salad? It has a gambling problem, Michael. How's yours? My salad gambles too much. My edamame cheats on me. How's your food? What's the other thing people always tell you? You gotta have a lot in common. If you're gonna get married, you gotta have a lot of similar interests. Garbage, not true at all. My wife and I, we have enough in common, but you would never pick us like on J-date. We're not Jewish, I don't know why I said J-date. Maybe J Mohr, J-date. You would never pick, I had my whole empire mapped out there. We don't have a lot of similar interests. We don't like the same food, we don't like the same movies, we don't like the same music, we don't even like the same people. One of us has a friend come over and the other one like goes upstairs into the bedroom like, tell him I'm sick, I hate that guy. Where's Jay? He's got the runs, he can't come down. He said, he wanted me to tell you good job, he likes you a lot. Here's the thing, similar interests are not what keep a marriage afloat. If you really want to stay together for a very, very long time, you don't have to have similar interests. Because they'll tell you, if your girlfriend is like a parasailer, they go, looks like somebody's gonna learn how to parasail. No, you don't have to, at all. You don't have to have similar interests to be happy together. You know what you have to have? Similar hates. Yeah. Similar hates. The couple that hates together loves together. And my wife and I are the dynamic duo of hatred. We hate everyone that's not in this room right now. You know you're married to the right person when weird things happen, you know. Ever hate somebody, you don't know why they hate them, and your wife tells you why you hate that person, and you're like, oh, wow, you're the best. And I mean that completely sincerely. Strange things happen. I remember once I was driving down Sunset Boulevard, and it was one of those strange days where I said to myself, wow, I've been mean all day. It was about 11 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, I've been kind of a dick all day. I've been grouchy all day. And it's very rare to do that much like self-reflection. I'm like, wow, I've been like crabby, I've been mean. I got in an argument with a stranger on Twitter, like that, like what? Like for an hour and a half, I'm arguing with Milk Lady 420 about the Jets season, like crazy. From now on, I'm going to be nice for the rest of the day. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to say anything negative about anybody the entire rest of the day. The moment I had that thought on Sunset Boulevard, a guy walked out of a tattoo parlor with denim cutoff shorts, flip-flops, a Def Leppard t-shirt, and I'm like, oh. I'm just staring at the guy and I'm sweating, and my wife goes like this, "Oh, look at this asshole." Oh, mi corazón. I was gonna let that ball roll out of bounds, and he just dove on the court and put that shit back in play. Yeah, fuck that guy. I hate him. Let's hate him. Similar hates. We don't like the same TV shows. If you looked at our TiVos, you wouldn't even think we knew each other. My wife's TiVo is like Food Network, Barefoot Contessa. Don't tell Jeffrey. How bad could that be? You're welcome. Dateline ID, like 40 Dateline ID murder shows. And then at the very bottom, there's like 18 House Hunters International. Yeah, ladies love House Hunters International. My TiVo is like UFC fight, boxing match, fight, Daily Show, Olbermann, fight. Now, if I was ever murdered, the FBI would look at my wife's TiVo and go, "Oh, this is an easy case." She obviously gave him poison chicken. Next, I'm making Jeffrey's chicken. How bad could that be? She obviously made him poison chicken, watched Dateline ID to learn how to get away with it, and then bought a condo in Toronto from an Indian landlord. We don't have to like all the same things, because every once in a while the streams will cross. I remember I was watching a fight downstairs. It was a UFC fight, and there was a fighter on my television, this kid Uriah Faber. Great kid, all right? Really great fighter, California kid, gorgeous, good looking, 135 pounds. He was just on my radio show. I interviewed him. He was a great interview, very kind, very humble. 2 days later, I'm watching pay-per-view, and I'm watching him just punch the shit out of some Brazilian guy, and I should be having a good time, but for some reason, I don't like him. My wife comes downstairs to get a Coke Zero out of the refrigerator, looks at the TV for 1 second and goes, "Who's the asshole with cornrows?" Oh, I love you. I don't know why I hated him until you let me know why I hate. There is no worse look than a white guy with cornrows. None. None. I take that back. White woman with cornrows. Yike. That is a bad look. That's when it's time to go home from vacation. When you're so drunk, you think cornrows is a good idea on your white head. Gentlemen, you're sitting in the hotel room just watching Sports Center, and all of a sudden your wife comes through the doors plowed. She's like, "A Jamaican guy braiding my hair for $4 on the beach." Time to go home. Wrap it up. That is a look that either says you drank too much on vacation or you're in jail and you're surviving. I remember when my wife was watching House Hunters International. And I go upstairs to get a pair of socks. I look up at the TV for 1 second. Now remember, I don't watch House Hunters. We explained that earlier. You know what? This is why I don't like the show House Hunters. You save all of your money to buy your dream house. And then you're in your dream house, and you're watching House Hunters. You watch somebody else's dream house, and you go, "Oh, fuck, I could have had that? Where's my realtor? I'm going to headbutt his face. This sucks." My wife is watching House Hunters. I come upstairs. All I wanted to do is get a pair of socks. I come upstairs. I go to get a pair of socks. I look up the screen. Again, 1 second. 1 second is all I need to know. There is a couple on the television that is the most disgusting couple I've ever seen in my life. Every single person in this room has that one couple in their neighborhood that when they walk down the street, you elbow each other and you go, "Oh my God, here they come. Look, here they come." And you know the couple I'm talking about, like matching red sweatsuits. They got fanny packs, green visors, and they're walking teacup Yorkies, and they wearing ankle weights. You're like, "Here they come. Look, here they come." This couple was worse than even that couple. I look up, there's a man standing there, little portly gentleman, a little heavy, but he's wearing a leather vest, no shirt on underneath. And his nipples are way too big. They're peeking out the side. He's got like giant silver dollar pancake nipples. That's what he wore when he knew he was gonna be on television. I'll wear my good vest. With no shirt on underneath. And his nipples are peeking like, are we on television? The wife looks like Mrs. Roper from Three's Company. You know, every lady, everyone here has got that one lady in the neighborhood. She's got the fucked up home perm, the colors aren't right. The top's not the same color as the bottom. She's got some flowery moo-moo. She's always trying to sell you jewelry, right? It's always like topaz and quartz, and she goes, I made it myself. And you're like, well, that means I can make it myself. What kind of fucking businesswoman are you nut? This couple was disgusting. And I stopped at the sock drawer, and the TV is right here in front of the sock drawer. And I said, I didn't realize I said it out loud. I went, oh my God, these people are terrible. And from behind me, I hear, will you stay? I look behind me, and I notice for the first time, my wife is completely under the blankets, up to here, just the remote sticking out, like she's watching The Exorcist alone at night. I go, do you want me to stay? She goes, I T-voted. I've already watched it twice. They're disgusting people. We can watch it again. You can get in bed. We can hate them together. And I'm like, well, I know what I'm doing with my afternoon. Let's hate. The couple that hates together loves together. Similar hates. Have you ever noticed on House Hunters, the more repulsive the couple, the more they're obsessed with buying a house with an area for entertaining? Every show, you got some guy in there with the leather vest and the big nipples going, you know what, this would be a really good place to entertain. What kind of entertaining is that guy doing? First of all, I've never said that word in my life. I've never said like, hey, you want to come to my house? We're entertaining. No, I would never say that. That's because, you know why? I don't live in medieval times. That's why. I'd say, do you want to come over? Are you coming by my house? I would never say, after the joust, we will retire to the south lawn. We will drink mead, have all the children washed and sent to my tent, and we will begin entertaining. And it's the most repulsive couple you've ever seen. It's amazing. And the more they talk, the worse it gets. The guy standing there talking to camera, they got to do their like little testimonials. He goes, well, during the day we teach magic, and at night we make dream catchers and we sell them online. And you're like, wow. I hope you buy a gated community, because people are going to be hopping the walls to party with you two. This would be a really good place for entertaining. I don't understand that. In my house, there's only one way my wife and I entertain. We fuck. That's it. This is an entertainment system right here. I own one. She has one too, and then a couple times a week, we put our entertainment systems together, we dock them up, and we entertain. That's entertaining. Not fucking game night. That's crazy. Apparently, you have to be an alcoholic on House Hunters as well. Every person that buys a house on House Hunters, they are obsessed with a room in that house where they can, and I quote, have my wine. $10 million mansion overlooking the Pacific Ocean, and the guy will go, this is a nice house. 14 bedrooms, 15 bathrooms, 18-car garage. Whoa, this is really a really good place for me to have my wine. Really? Maybe you should go to a meeting. Maybe you have a drinking problem. If that's what's important to you, buying a $10 million house overlooking the ocean is a place for you to drink wine. If I have a $10 million mansion overlooking the Pacific Ocean, I'm going to say to my wife, look out at the view. And she'd be like, I've seen it. We've lived here a year and a half. And I'll be like, no, you need to look again. It's weird. And she'll be like, what are you talking about? I go, just go look at the view. And she'll go out on the balcony, and she'll look out in the ocean, and I'll pull down her Free City sweatpants. And then I will entertain her. For 16 seconds in a row. You could have a glass of wine, I'm gonna have an orgasm. She'll have 2 or 3. She's a lot better at it than I am. We have similar hates, my wife and I, and that's what keeps us together. We both hate intolerance. We both hate homophobia. We both hate the word homophobia. Doesn't make any sense. Phobia is something where you're so afraid of something. A doctor on a legal pad has to write you a prescription for your phobia, arachnophobia, fear of spiders, claustrophobia, fear of closed-in spaces, homophobia. You're not afraid of gay people. It's just not your thing. I understand that, and I'm not trying to convince you otherwise. That's your thing. That's for you to carry. I don't really give a shit. That's your life, my life. I have gay friends, and that's, you have your friends, I have mine. But if you don't like gay people, it's not a fucking phobia. You have to change. Look, all right, look. If you had arachnophobia, right, and I had a bucket of spiders, tarantulas, and I just threw them right here. Look, they flinched, and it's make-believe. And then I would say, like a year from now, somebody would say to this guy, he'd be like, hey, we're going up to Santa Barbara. He'd be like, I can't go to Santa Barbara. He's that afraid of spiders. But if I had a friend, I go, hey, this is my friend Kirk. And it happened to be like a gay guy, and he came out, you would shake his hand and go, hey, nice to meet you, Kirk. You wouldn't go, ah, and run out of the back of the theater because you have a phobia with gay. What if I had a bucket of gay spiders? How amazing would that be? Oh my gosh. Can you imagine arachnohomophobia if I had like a giant bucket of gay spiders with little furry arms, not neatly combed, of course. And you couldn't run away because they were gay spiders. You'd have to be nice. You'd shake their little furry hand. You'd be like, hey, how are you, spider? Nice to meet you. And on the drive home, you'd be like, I think that spider was a fag, right? Don't like the name homophobia. You're not afraid of gay people. It's just not your thing. We both don't like that. Similar hates. We both hate intolerance, racism, anti-Semitism, sexism, ageism, looksism. We both hate irony. Now, this is a heavy trip, but you guys are obviously smart. You guys will get this. Irony. And what I mean by that is people that think things are so bad that they're good. They're ironic. Hipster douchebags with handlebar mustaches. Wearing Hello Kitty t-shirts, and they're like, you like it? It's hilarious, right? No, it's not. At all. You look like a dick. You're 35 years old wearing a Hello Kitty t-shirt, and you don't watch Hello Kitty. If I wear a Hello Kitty t-shirt, it's because I love the fuck out of Hello Kitty. I have no irony in my body at all. None. Zero. If I wear something, it's because I like it. I don't have any wacky t-shirts. I never will tell you, like, something is so bad that it's good. You follow me on this? People go, hey, I watched Showgirls last night for like the 15th time. And you go, why? Oh, it's so bad, it's good. No, it's so bad, it's bad. To you, apparently, it's just actually good because you've watched it 15 times. That doesn't make sense, Tyler. Nothing is so bad that it's good. You've never eaten bad cheese and, like, after an hour of just shoving it into your face going, you know what? It's growing on me. You know what? It's so bad, it's delicious. Nothing is so bad that it's good. I watch if Showgirls was on tonight, when I go home, if Showgirls was on Showtime, I'm up. I'm up for 2 hours. You know why? Because I fucking love Showgirls. It's great. Not because it's bad, because I'm man enough to go, I enjoy this movie. I'm not an ironic douchebag going, so bad, it's good. Just admit you like it, asshole. Nothing is so bad, it's good. I watched a movie once called Pluto Nash. I only got 20 minutes in, and I'm in it. It never circled back around to good. It just kind of stayed bad, and I went, I'm wasting my time. I'm going to watch Showgirls. I don't like irony. My wife hates it, too. I have no irony in my body whatsoever. I don't like ironic people. I don't understand the mindset. You see a guy, some barista, and he's wearing a Journey t-shirt, and you go, man, that's a bitchin' Journey t-shirt. He goes, I know, it's fine. I got it at a thrift shop. It's awesome, right? It's funny. And I'm like, whoa, I'm sorry. Did you just say Journey was funny? Let me tell you something, Tucker. I don't know what egg you hatched out of or what spaceship they dropped you onto Earth. Journey is not funny. Let me tell you something about Journey. Journey is so amazing, so beautiful, so powerful, so impressive that right now as we're talking, there's a tiny Filipino man acting like he's the lead singer of Journey. And none of us care. We go to every Journey concert with the little Filipino lead singer, and we're like, fuck it, 3 out of 4, I'm going anyway. They found him on YouTube doing karaoke Journey songs. He doesn't speak English. He's like, when the lights go down. I don't have to pay for the song, but you get the point. He sings Journey for an hour and a half, and in the meet and greet, he's like, ding, dang, dong, dong. He doesn't even know what the fuck you're talking about. That's how great Journey is, you asshole, you ironic dick. Take your irony and beat it. See a guy wearing a Neil Diamond tour jacket, you go, hey, oh, hey, bro, did you see Neil Diamond? Which one of these cities? You know, they always have like the cities on the back of a tour jacket. You're like, whoa, hey, you gotta catch up to the guy. It's a Neil Diamond tour jacket, it's cool. Bro, hey, whoa, hey, buddy, did you see Neil Diamond? Which one of those cities? Which show were you at? Because I went to that. He goes, oh no, I just picked this up because I thought it was funny. And you're like, what? And like a part of you breaks, like Neil Diamond is funny? Sweet Caroline. Okay, so we're all assholes? Apparently, he's kind of awesome. We all knew the words with one sentence. And don't lie. When you see a Neil Diamond in concert and you yell, oh, 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 you are yelling louder than you've ever yelled anything in your life. Your 4-year-old could run into traffic and you're like, oh, stop, would be half as loud as your oh, oh, oh. Because in the back of your mind, you're hoping against hope that Neil Diamond just stops the entire show and says, hold on a minute. That was the greatest goddamn oh, oh, oh I've ever heard. I want you to come on tour with me and be my permanent oh, oh, oh. You know that's true. So now you know what I mean by irony. I don't have it in me, and neither does my bride. Similar hates. There's a couple times in my life where irony has completely bitten me in my ass. When I've done something to be ironic, when I've done something that I thought was funny, it's completely backfired. I have 2 examples for you that you're gonna love. My wife was filming a movie in Atlanta. I went with her. She's there 4 days. She has 1 day off, and she goes, you know, Bon Jovi's playing next door. I'm like, oh my God, we have to go. It'll be so funny. That's what I said. Let's go see Bon Jovi. It will be so funny. And she goes, it will, right? I go, yeah, it'll be hilarious. They're in their 40s. Their pants are too tight. Let's go and just laugh and have a good time. And you know what? It was funny. To Bon Jovi. Because 2 songs in, we're standing on our chairs. Ah! Frankie, you still work on. Ah! We are shoving each other out of the way to try to touch John Bon Jovi's dick. We're just pulling people by their hair. We're in the 6th row, and we're making our way forward. Get the fuck you, bitch. Ah! Ah! And my pants were too tight. I'm back in the hotel high-fiving. That was amazing. He looked at me. He looked at me too. All true. We were in Las Vegas once, my wife and I. This is obviously before we had children. The reason I have to put that addendum in is because the whole point of this story is that my wife and I were very, very high, real high. In Las Vegas, just started dating, and we always got our pot from Grandma Helen. My wife's grandma always gave us pot. And it was always good pot, nice pot, easy like, so, I don't want to keep paying for songs on this damn special. Man, that guy likes music. We used to smoke all of Grandma Helen's pot, and then on this particular trip to Las Vegas, Grandma Helen gave us a nice, a lot of pot. But she didn't tell us that it was a different kind of pot. Now, before I go any further, you must know that Grandma Helen Alice Spoor is completely healthy, and she's kicked the Grim Reaper in the nuts 6 times. She's given last rites by the Catholic Church 3 or 4 times, and every time everybody thinks she's on death's door, she gets up out of a hospital bed and goes, "Take me home." She's completely fine. So when I tell you this, I don't want you to be like, "Eee, she's fine. She's watching tonight. She's great," okay? She used to give us pot, grass, reefer, marijuana. Now, this particular trip to Las Vegas, what she did not tell us was that the hospital gave her a new kind of pot because after getting last rites by the Catholic Church, they gave her palliative care marijuana. If you don't know what palliative care means, and I pray to God that you never know what it means you are going to die. The doctors, nurses, and specialists went, fuck it, I don't know what to do. Give her palliative care. That just means give her nice pillows because she's dying anyway. They gave her palliative care marijuana. The kind of marijuana that they give you when you know you're dying. If you're going to meet St. Peter, you might as well shake his hand giggling. That's the kind of pot. That my wife and I are now in possession of. And we didn't realize that it was that kind of pot. It's like morphine. It's like other level, and we have no idea. We're in a hotel room in Las Vegas. We each have a joint to ourselves, awake and bake, 9 in the morning. We smoke each of our entire joints by ourselves. And I'm sitting on a couch, and she's sitting on a chair, and about 2 hours go by before we realize none of us have spoken. 2 hours, I'm not exaggerating at all. 2 hours, mouths open. And after 2 hours, my wife said to me, "Did I just say that out loud?" We were, how do you put it, fucked. And there is no worse high than a surprise high. No worse. And if you've ever gotten high in your life, you know that. No worse high than a surprise high. You're at a Dodger game, it's the 2nd inning, and your buddy goes, "Whoa, you didn't eat the whole cookie, did you?" And you're like, "What? You gave me a cookie, I ate it. What's the problem?" "Oh, dude. Do these chairs have seatbelts? You're gonna need one, bro." Like, what? Just a pot cookie? Who cares? And then in the 4th inning, you look at some strangers next to you, you're like, everybody in the bullpen's talking about me. The first base coach keeps giving me the finger. Look, watch this. Look. I'm not high. We were gone. We realized we have to get out of the hotel room because the walls are closing in, the ceiling's getting shorter, and the carpet's doing funny things to our eyes. We need to get out of there. Now, we can't hang out in the casino at the hotel in Las Vegas. We're both sort of famous, I suppose. All right, how about this? We're both famous enough that when you're that fucking high, you don't want to be at a card table and have people going, "Hey, you want to take a bet?" Ah! That'll scare the shit out of you. We realize we have to get off premises entirely, but we don't know what to do. My wife looks at the Las Vegas magazine that they put in your room when you go to Las Vegas, and she goes, "Oh my God." I go, "What?" She goes, "We should go to the Liberace Museum." Yeah. And you are thinking the exact same thing that I thought. Ironic. I thought, it'll be funny. That's what you were thinking, right? Admit it. Yes. And that's why we went. To be ironic. And apparently we were so high, we did not look at a mirror before we left the room. We decided to walk it, in my wife's immortal words, "It's only 14 blocks. She didn't say a cunty like that. I don't know why she said, it's only 14 blocks. She's nice. My wife's a nice person. I don't know why I said it like that. She said it's only 14 blocks. But Las Vegas blocks, it's like, whoa, there's New York City. There's a fucking pyramid. Holy shit. Like, they're different blocks. You're not in Manhattan. You fall, yeah. So we go out. It is 108 degrees. My wife is wearing pajama bottoms, Ugg boots, a bikini top. Oh, we're gone, yeah. I'm wearing a Def Leppard t-shirt, denim cut-off shorts. And flip-flops. True. We are walking. It's 108 degrees. We are sweating. My wife's mascara is running like she's a rejected Kiss character. It is brutal. We're not gonna make it. Don't forget, we're panic-stricken because we're so high, and we don't realize why we're so high. We don't know we took You're About to Die pot. I feel like I'm gonna have diarrhea. I'm walking, I'm trying not to let one go. We finally, after an eternity, get to the Liberace Museum. We open the Liberace Museum doors. The air conditioning inside is preset to 64 degrees, and we get a wash with cool air. And my wife and I are both thinking, he's already the greatest artist of all time. I don't give a shit. I don't know anything about him, but his fucking museum has air conditioning. He's the greatest. All I know about Liberace, and I'm not joking, prior to that trip, was Bugs Bunny sitting at a piano and looking out and saying, I wish my brother George was here. That's my entire wealth of Liberace knowledge. I knew nothing about the man. I walk into the 66, 64-degree museum. Oh, so nice. I love Liberace. It's cool in here. And there is a diamond-encrusted piano right when you walk in. A piano with diamonds all over it. It must have cost like $50 million. And then there's outfits behind glass cases, like fedoras and like fedora hats and like beautiful scarves made out of ostrich feathers with the fucking head still attached. The ostrich like, really? And you realize, wow, this guy was famous. Like, people thought he was straight. That's fame. I mean, let's be real for a second. Liberace would come out. He didn't hide it at all. Liberace would come and go, hi, hi, thank you for coming. And then there was housewives in Madison, Wisconsin going, oh, Lee, wait for me. Like, they thought he was straight. They didn't, you know. The whole time we're in the Liberace Museum, they are piping in the most beautiful piano music I have ever heard in my life. And I look at the docent, the guy working at the Liberace Museum, and I go, is this Rufus Wainwright? Is this Bach, Beethoven? Like, what is this amazing piano music? And he goes, it's Liberace. You're in the Liberace Museum, so we play Liberace. And at that moment, I realized what an asshole I was. Because we went there to be ironic. And it wasn't funny at all. We got an education. And let me tell you something. There's been a few mistakes in my life that I wish I could take back. Going to the Liberace Museum is not one of them. However, I'm going to tell you one of the worst mistakes you could ever make. Palliative care marijuana in the Liberace Museum gift shop. An $1,100 mistake. Everything seems like a good idea. Liberace plates, Liberace shot glasses, Liberace coffee mugs, Liberace cookbooks. Hey, let's have a Liberace dinner party. We'll invite 12 people, get more plates, and we'll plan it on our Liberace calendar. They sell everything. My wife and I are still high, still freaking out. We're like, how do we get all these plates home? They sell Liberace luggage at the Liberace gift shop on wheels, on rollers, so you can walk it back to your hotel because they know you're high. So there we are, like people on meth, just like putting plates and saucers with Liberace's picture on it, and like shot glasses, like, can you zip it? Will it fit for a Liberace dinner party? And we walk back to the hotel, dragging our Liberace luggage up Flamingo Boulevard, 108 degrees. And there's a picture of Liberace on the side of the luggage wearing dolphin shorts and red, white, and blue suspenders and tassels going, yeah! And we're just pulling it up the street. My flip-flops are coming off because they're melting. My wife's Uggs smell like a skunk farted. It's horrible. It is brutal, and my denim shorts are cutting into my thighs, and all I can pray and hope is that at that exact moment, a married couple drove by, and the wife said, "Look at this asshole." My wife and I do share one thing that we do love. We like a lot of the same things. The one big thing, daytime TV, we're like obsessed with. If you want to know why your senator sucks and like your congresswoman won't call you back or the mayor is like cheating on his wife, you need to know something. People that are on TV during the day, they vote more than you and I vote combined. You watch daytime TV, that's like the real shit. That's America. That's real, that's America. That's America. 16 and pregnant, I'm 16, my mom's pregnant, oh my God, my mom's 16 and she's pregnant. Like that's really what's happening. This is like an illusion right here what's happening. You ever watch Maury Povich and he goes, "Lamar, you are not the father." And Lamar's like, "Yeah!" Lamar votes. He's there at 7 in the morning, he votes, and then he gets back online. I love when they do that, "you are or you are not the father," because they always do a close-up shot of the baby. They got a camera on the baby backstage. It's like a 1-year-old, but he's already like a little obese with runny eyes, and he's just staring into the camera like... The baby has a look on his face like, either way I lose, right? Let's be honest. It's not like if Lamar is the father, I'm the big winner here today on the Maury Povich Show. Daytime TV commercials are the most fascinating thing, and I'm going to tell you all about them because you need to hear it, because you guys need to be on the same page as me. Daytime TV commercials, it really is just a list of side effects all day long. You know that, right? All day, side effects, side effects, side effects, side effects. They're catering to people that maybe don't feel so good that day. Maybe you take a day off of work. We all have that one day, a Wednesday. Ladies, you call your boss. Guys, you know what's amazing when you call in sick to work? Even though your boss can't see you, you still physically act it out in your house. Like, "Oh, God, I don't know, man. I don't think I'm gonna make it." Like your boss, you could be standing there naked, like doing Xbox, but instead you're like, "Oh." Going for the on-the-phone Oscar for your boss. And your boss goes, "Take all the time you need, Wendy. Don't worry about it." And you're like, "Okay, good." You hang up the phone, you take off the Spanx, let the gut out. Fuck it. This is my day. I'm relaxing. My day. This is a day for me. But you can't relax because daytime TV will scare the shit out of you. Big pharmaceutical companies, they need you to think and me to think that we are dying faster than we're actually dying. And I got news for you. Every single person in this beautiful theater is going to live well into their 80s. I talked to God on the drive over. He told me to tell you that. We're all healthy. We're all living well into our 80s. But big pharmaceutical companies, they won't make any money if we just get a flu shot and jog and get on with our lives. They need to make up fake diseases, sell us fake pills with 40 side effects that make us take 40 other pills for the side. And you know, okay, here, how about this? You're at home, you take a day off of work, you're taking a nap in the middle of the day, heaven on earth as I call it. You're watching a Law and Order marathon, a good one, the old ones with Jerry Orbach. Yeah. All right, I knew you guys were great. The old good ones with Jerry Orbach. And you're like, this is the best. And after like 3 episodes, you start drifting off to sleep, and you're like, oh, man, what a great day. Then the daytime TV commercial comes on. Do you have mesothelioma? I don't know what that is. Maybe. Yeah, is there a number I could call? And that's all the commercial is a goddamn 800 number. They don't tell you what the disease is. They just ask you if you have it. Big pharmaceutical needs you to think you're dying, so they make shit up. Do you have a vaginal mesh that's recently torn or come undone? What? What? Huh? What? I don't even have a vaginal. Do I? I don't, is that what mesothelioma is? Not knowing where your vaginal is if you're a man? How about when you get up to pee and they go, do you pee more than twice a night? And you're like, why? Why? What's wrong? Nobody pees anymore. What's wrong with you? Are you really peeing 2 times in 8 hours? Really? You might be dying, bro. You might have bladder cancer. Your prostate might look like a star fruit. Yeah, I don't know, man. You're dying. You're gonna be dead soon. You're like, or maybe I had a venti Starbucks on the way to my show and I had 3 bottles of water at the show, and then I drove home and now my body's getting rid of all the liquid. No, you're dying. No. You should take Flomax, bro. And there's a pill, apparently, that big pharmaceutical companies have made so that you don't have to pee. Like, don't you have to pee so you don't fucking die? Isn't that why people get catheters? Because they can't pee anymore? Oh, how great are those commercials? Is your old catheter slowing you down? It's kind of supposed to, right? I didn't know I could have a new sporty catheter. I could be out in the yard with the neighborhood kids playing slot receiver. All right, only tag me on my right side, because you guys know I got that situation, right? It's a catheter. It's supposed, slow down. Nobody pees anymore. That's what they try to convince you. They want you to take a pill so you don't pee more than once in like 24 hours. That can't be healthy. Oh my gosh. Have you ever seen the commercial for Flomax? It's amazing. 80-year-old men in khaki pants, and they're out on a boat with no toilet, and there's no symbolism on it. That commercial has no symbolism whatsoever. 80-year-old men out on the ocean, surrounded by water, and they have fishing rods where their dicks go, and they're laughing. Woo! Yeah! I haven't peed in 2 weeks, man. Yeah! Hopefully I catch something, you know what I mean? You're like, whoa. I want Flomax. I want a boat. Do you have restless leg syndrome? What? Come on. You made that up, big pharmaceutical company. Restless leg syndrome. And they show you on TV. They're like, no, it's serious. It's a serious disease. Same as like cancer, like it's bad. And they show you on TV a lady laying in bed, and they go, you know, a lot of people suffer from it. They don't even know it. And they show a lady in bed, and she's rubbing her legs together like this. And they're like, she has restless leg syndrome. She needs a pill. And you're sitting there watching it going, oh, no. I'm doing that right now. I got a lot of diseases I didn't even know about. I got to stop watching daytime TV. The most amazing commercials ever are antidepressant commercials. The balls that swing low on these companies when they try to sell us a pill to keep us from being depressed is astounding. Have an antidepressant. But first of all, they come on and they say, are you depressed? And you go, no. Pretty happy, actually, all the time. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. You know, depression affects 1 in 4 Americans, and you're like, why? Whoa, I didn't know that. And then they show a lady in front of the frozen food aisle with an empty shopping cart. She can't even figure out what, like, lonely meal to put into her lonely cart. Kind of looks like it's raining inside the supermarket, you know? People walk by her, they get, like, ice on their elbows, and they look back at her like, why did you give this to me? And then the voiceover goes, depression affects everybody. And you're like, okay, now I'm depressed, yeah. What do you have? And they'll tell you the name of the drug. I don't want to get sued by pharmaceutical companies, but I will tell you, I have personally been on an antidepressant, and I had to get off of it, and it's amazing. This is what's incredible about an antidepressant. The side effects: swollen feet, balloon hands, your throat might close, your teeth might fall out, you might go bald, irrational thoughts, suicide, depression. Whoa, I'm sorry. Did you just say out loud that the side effect of my antidepressant might be depression? You scumbag, you. What kind of business person are you? Hey, try our new inhaler. Side effects might include asthma. Try our condoms. Only 1 in 5 people get syphilis. Well, an antidepressant should not cause depression. That's depressing to think about. And in rare cases, death. What? Death. They say that on the commercial. In rare cases, death. Let me tell you guys something right now. Death is never a side effect. Ever. Death is always the effect. If you were allergic to nuts and you just ate like 14 gallons of nuts and then you died, they wouldn't go, hey, maybe it's a side effect. No, they go, this guy fucking died. Actually, maybe death is the side effect. If you think about it, if you want to get morbid, death is a side effect to every single thing. The moment you're born, death is a side effect. You're going to live to be 88. You're going to die. Being born is, death is a side effect of birth. Tonight, you guys will die 40 years from now, and you'll be like, I shouldn't have gone to that show. It fucking killed me. So there's 2 ways of looking at it. I wanted to get off my antidepressant that I was on for a very specific reason. I called my doctor to get off my antidepressant, and I said, I want to get off my antidepressant for a side effect that I'm going to mention in a moment. And my doctor actually said to me, don't quit, wait. And I'm like, whoa, what? She says, you take 2 pills a day. I want you to break 1 pill in half. Take 1.5 pills for 30 days. After that 30 days is up, I want you to break that pill in half, and I want you to take 1 pill for 30 days, and then break that pill in half, and then take half a pill for another 30 days, and then that morning call me. What the fuck poison did you put me on? A 90-day detox for an antidepressant? People quit cocaine in an afternoon. What is this? The reason I wanted to get off the antidepressant is because there's a side effect they do not tell you about. And this is for the men. If you're on an antidepressant, the one I was on specifically, that I won't say out loud because I don't want to get sued, there's no nice way to put this. You can't come. Yeah. You cannot ejaculate, ever. Not even like Russell Brand could pull it off. I don't know what happened. There's a beautiful streaming ribbon of white effluvia that I want to encapsulate my partner. You're hoping, against hope, a Herculean task, that God will part the beautiful skies and allow the faucet, the spigot, to be turned a little bit to the left and let something flow from the tiniest, yet I might argue, the most important orifice in the human body. You can't ejaculate, ever. For like 8 months, I kept trying. And it's not cool. You're not like, I fucked her all night, man. No, you're calling your friends like, I fucked her all night, man. Now remember, I last 16 seconds in a row. All of a sudden, my wife has an 8-month run where nothing's coming out. I fucked my wife until she was shorter. Smoke came out of her ears and her eyes. And about 2 months in, she said, why do you keep doing this every night? I said, I don't know, I'm happy. Real happy. The best show that you can watch during the day is Dateline ID. It's an entire network where every single show is about murder. Every single show. And the names of the show are Murder, Murder Next Door, Murder Behind Mansion Walls, Millionaire Murder, Who the Bleep Did I Murder? I Almost Got Away with Murder, Murder 2 Electric Boogaloo. That one I made up. It's murder all the time. It's amazing. And it's hosted by a guy named Keith Morrison. He narrates all of these shows. His job is to narrate and walk you through murders. And he's the best at it. He's like Dr. Seuss. He comes out and he goes, yes, something was brewing at the local Waffle House. Yeah, But it wasn't the coffee. What was brewing? Murder. You're like, bro, you have my full attention. It's amazing. I want you to pay attention to these shows on Dateline ID. Keith Morrison specifically, when he says the word or, he never wastes that word. The most heinous, vicious, violent thing is coming right behind it. He'll never say like, she went downstairs to make laundry or to make breakfast for her children. No, never. If you hear Keith Morrison say, or, just white knuckle grab something. Because something wicked is coming right behind it. She went downstairs to make breakfast for her husband. Or to slit the throats of all 3 of her babies. What? How did that get past the censors? You can't show a cock on HBO, but you can slit baby throats at 11 in the afternoon when I take my Spanx off to stay home from work with my Hello Kitty t-shirt on? Yike! Murder. Every show is about murder. It's always a white woman. Always. Every show. And she's always named Patty. If you're a white woman tonight and your name is Patty, go home right now. Just get a head start. Because it ain't gonna end well. It's always a white women, congratulations. You lead the league in getting murdered by your husbands. I've never seen a black woman. I've never seen a Latina. I've never seen an Asian. I've never seen an Indian, either kind, ever. It's always a white woman named Patty that gets killed by her husband. And my wife pointed this out to me. When you get killed, everybody says the nicest things about you. You could have been the biggest asshole that ever walked planet Earth. But if your husband takes your head off, they rewrite history because they want to be on television and they want Keith Morrison to say, or, in your living room. They say 2 things every time if you get murdered. The one thing they always say, there'll be some lady that worked with Patty at the bank and she sits down, she's on TV. I want you to pay attention to this now. They always say this. They always go, she was one of these people that really lit up a room. Really? I saw Patty's wedding video. I saw Patty when she was a chunky cheerleader. I saw Patty the day before. Patty's a fucking 5 tops. Let's not rewrite history because she got killed. Patty lit up a room. Patty with the crooked tooth and the crunchy bangs. Are you out of your minds? Patty sucks. Fuck Patty. I'm glad she's dead because I'm having a great time watching Keith Morrison. I don't like Patty. I met her 14 minutes ago. If Patty was so bright, how come she couldn't outrun a ball-peen hammer in her own driveway? That's not bright person activity. The other thing that they always say, is they say, no one had anything bad to say about her. Are you sure about that? I'm just saying, because by my math, there's at least one guy. There's one, at least, that had such bad things to say about Patty, words weren't working for him anymore. He needed the woods and time to get his point across. And whoever kills his wife, they always look like Norm Macdonald. Oh, it's amazing. That's not a knock on Norm. Norm's like a super handsome guy, 1950s, beautiful good looks, beautiful sparkling blue eyes. But any guy that kills his wife looks like Norm. They interview him in like his jail cell. He's like, hey, you guys know my wife, Patty, right? I'm like, yeah. It's about a year ago. I decided to take Patty camping. Way out in the woods there, you know, real far out in the woods. Me and Patty, all alone out there in the woods. You know? I brought a whole bunch of bottles of red wine because I don't know if you saw this at the trial. Patty's a real bad alcoholic, you know. She drank too much. I hate Patty, you know. So I put rat poison in the red wine, you know. Try to kill Patty. but I don't know how many rats equal a patty. So I just had to ballpark her, you know. I was loading up the truck, you know. She's like, hey, come on. I was like, oh, I'll be right there. You know. I did the best I could, you know. I figured each bottle of wine, I figured Patty is about 41 rats. But I was wrong, you know. She just kept drinking and talking all night, you know. Just wouldn't stop talking after all that rat poison red wine I gave her, so I cut her head off, you know. Because I hate Patty. Let's be honest, you know, she doesn't exactly light up her room. Grazie. Ladies, it is very easy to tell if you're going to get murdered by your husband. Now that sounds morbid, but you need to hear me out. If you get killed by your husband, shame on you. I can't get up to pee in the middle of the night without stubbing my toe, having 3 Yorkies and Malteses barking at me, turning on the light and falling down, and my wife going, are you okay? Now all of a sudden I'm supposed to let you bleed out in my garage for 4 days, have 3 interviews with cops with blood on my tie. At some point you have to go, I'm in here! Let me tell you something, ladies. Draw a 55-mile circle around your house. This is my don't get killed test. Draw a 55, sounds morbid. Draw a 55-mile circle around your house. Not literally, that would make you fucking crazy. You'd get about a block and a half, you'd go, I ran out of chalk. My knuckles hurt. Figuratively, draw a 55-mile circle around your house. Everything you do, every relative you give a shit about, every Christmas, every Thanksgiving, tonight, all happens inside that 55-mile circle. The moment your husband asks you to go that 56th, 57th mile, he's going to kill you. You're watching a marathon of something on TV and your husband walks in and goes, hey, you know what? We should go on a cruise. It leaves in like 18 minutes. We got to leave now. Don't go. He's taking you on a cruise to kill you. Nobody goes on a cruise for any other reason except to throw fucking Patty off the back in the middle of the night. Cruises are just floating murder parlors. That's it. Nothing good ever happens. Every once in a while, a husband on Dateline ID will get murdered by his wife, and it's the same 55-mile rule that I just told you guys about. And guys, you gotta be hip to this, be careful. You're in the garage working on your car, your wife comes in and goes, hey, do you wanna go out, in the ocean and learn to scuba dive? Sure. Get a divorce right there. She doesn't want to scuba dive with you. She wants to kill you. There's not a woman in this room that wants to scuba dive with a man in this room. You know who she wants to scuba dive with? The big muscle-bound Italian guy that she met on the cruise ship that you took her on to murder her, but you chickened out. She won't. She will not. She will pull that off with aplomb. Murder ain't shit to a woman. Women give birth. Women have 10-pound babies come out of their vagina holes. Then you hand a woman a knife and she just stabs a guy. She's like, this doesn't hurt me at all. This is easy. I have 4 children. I thought I was gonna die. I just keep stabbing it. Oh, I'm done? I didn't know I was done. It's so easy. Murder isn't shit to a woman, and she'll get away with it too, unlike you. You'll be in the ocean, and you'll be in all your weird scuba gear, and you'll be all clumsy and shit because you didn't want to go in the first place, and she talked you into it, and she'll go, come closer, and she'll pull your mask off and pull you out your oxygen, and she'll stab you in the ball bag with a dive knife, and as your blood drifts off to the shark's nostrils, she'll kick you out into the ocean. But before you get too far away, she'll take your oxygen tanks off of your back, and then she'll get back onto the ship and hang them up in your cubby where they're supposed to go, and then she'll sign you back in. Your wife learned your signature like 4 years ago. You know that, right? She'll sign you back in, and then she'll find a guy that's kind of your height back on the mainland in Mazatlan, Mexico, to wear your Laker hat in the lobby of the hotel for the cameras, like this. Just kissing a stranger. The guy's like, this is the best vacation ever. Just a little weekend at Bernie's action going on, just walking around with a stranger. And everyone will say, well, it couldn't have been Patty. She's right there hanging out with him in the lobby. And what happens? 4 days go by, your body washes up in the Panama Canal. And they find you. And there's some Panamanian detective, and you're laying there in like 1 foot of water with your Def Leppard t-shirt and your denim cut-off shorts. And the detective edges his buddy and goes, look at this asshole. I love you guys so much. Thank you. I love it. Yeah! I love it! Thank you very much. Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. I love you, man. I love it, Tim. I love you. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow! So much fun. Thank you, everybody in Santa Barbara. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. I can't get up to pee in the middle of the night without stubbing my toe, having 3 Yorkies and Malteses barking at me, turning on the light and falling down, and my wife going, are you okay? Now all of a sudden I'm supposed to let you bleed out in my garage for 4 days, have 3 interviews with cops with blood on my tie.
That was actually 100% better than I thought it was going to be. Just because I don't know a whole lot about Jay Mohr, this is like my first experience with stand-up comedy with him. That was I don't know what I was expecting, but this was good. This was really good. I enjoyed that. He's a good impersonator too, I will say. He did a couple of really, his Norm Macdonald is fucking spot the fuck on. Almost to a creepy level. I did want to kind of point out a couple things, because part of the fun of doing this is like pointing out different people have different stories, but also different people can. I'll talk about this first, I guess. This whole similar hates thing. That is a very, very true thing that I never even thought about. That is fucking hysterical. That is really fucking funny. Every relationship I've had, there's been something that we hate together. It's fucking hilarious. That's fucking funny as hell. Anyway, but instead of hating or disagreeing or anything like that, he starts off with some small dick jokes because he's talking about a small penis and he only lasts 16 seconds. And that is one thing. It's nice to see this. And this is confirmation bias, but it's nice to see somebody kind of agreeing with me. Whether it's true or not doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that he at least knows that having a small penis is funny. That is absolutely true. You will get way more laughs out of saying you have a small penis than you will out of a big penis. That's just facts right there. Let's talk about TV shows, and that is true. If you're watching this, then you know I am a super obsessed nerd, especially when it comes to stand-up comedy. like to a level that is almost ridiculous. I am a super obsessed nerd with it. That was the whole premise of me starting the Let's Laugh, was to really talk about that, because I love discovering new comedians and I love recommending comedians. And I promise you, there is very few people that have that level of obsession. And it's not about necessarily disagreeing with it. Sometimes something that you have passion for can be very attractive to people. I know I find it attractive for sure. 100%. As long as it's not something that's going to hurt anybody, I think that's the safe thing to put there. And then the getting super high thing. Oh my god. Oh my god, getting high, like getting too high by accident and stuff like that. Yeah, I have some stories. I definitely have some stories. And it's actually worse for me because I'm usually pretty good at like moderating it. Like even a strain of weed, I've already smoked 10 joints of this particular weed. Like literally this batch. Like to a T, this collection. And I will still sit there and smoke about a half and then put it out and kind of be like, you know, let that kick in first. So when I get too high all of a sudden, it is very disconcerting. Because I am never trying to get that high. So it's kind of fucked up. But yeah, um, not as funny. You know, if we're gonna be straight up, I wasn't as funny, especially closer to the end. At least in my opinion, wasn't as funny as like Brewer and Dana Carvey. But definitely, he's somebody that definitely, at least from like, he's a fairly famous person on a lot of sports radio, been in TV shows and movies and stuff like that. Absolutely. He is a fairly famous person. In my opinion, with this much talent, this is somebody that should be pushed a little bit more in the world of comedy. This is somebody who should absolutely have gotten a little more recognition. And that's kind of the point. You know, Let's Laugh has two real purposes. And you have the first purpose is to draw more attention to people that should have more attention. And this is an example of somebody who should definitely have more attention. But also bringing up history. And, you know, if we're going to be specific, yeah, the 90s are history. And we talked about, because he was part of Smodcast. You know, those are all parts that are important to history and the history of stand-up comedy. And as much as I feel that we should preserve stand-up comedy, you know, the big things in stand-up comedy, the things that shook the world in one way, shape, or form. And podcasts really have done that. And to kind of give a little bit of history on, because podcasts have definitely done that, especially to a lot of comedians. You know, like I'm a big fan of Bert Kreischer. I will not talk shit on Bert, at least as far as comedy goes. But podcasts gave that to him. It's because of Joe Rogan's podcast, his own podcast, the podcast he has with Tom Segura, you know. And yes, it's also a bit because he's been on TV and such, you know, as well. even before he was big in stand-up comedy. You know, those are things that need to be celebrated, but when it comes to the background history of stand-up comedy, like, I'm not a huge fan of Dane Cook, but that doesn't mean that I can talk shit on what he did for the world of stand-up comedy. A lot of people aren't a big fan of Andrew Dice Clay, but you can't, if it's not for him, comedy wouldn't be what it is today. And in a way, I kind of think that we may end up looking at Andrew Dice Clay in a few years the way we currently kind of look at Lenny Bruce as a stand-up comedian who is willing to fight for freedom of speech and things of that nature, even if he was saying a lot of things people didn't particularly care for. You know? That's the way he was doing it. And if, you usher in freedom of speech, you get a better discord on things. And to me, that's, all the aspects of comedy, because comedy affects the world around us. Whether it's pointing it out and bringing it more into the forefront like it should be, which is literally what happened with the whole Bill Cosby thing. That was started, the rumors of it, the rumblings, the soft rumbling, or not even the soft rumblings, because it was kind of already soft rumblings, but taking the soft rumblings and elevating it to kind of expose it is one of those, oh yeah, that is kind of interesting. And it can also skew things as well. There are political comedians that can teach us a lot about politics, especially for those of us who don't really pay that much of attention. And I feel that kind of stuff is very important too. But anyway, with that all being said, thank you all so very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed this. Let's take a quick look. David Cross is next. I do have a worry that this might end up getting affected by YouTube's algorithm. So, just as a heads up, at the beginning of it and everything, I will absolutely post my Twitch channel just in case something happens over on YouTube, because Twitch is a little more forgiving on this kind of stuff. We'll see how that works out. But that all being said, thank you all so very much for joining. Always remember, don't do anything I wouldn't do. You should probably stay away from most of the things I would do. And until next